Okay, so we are now recording. So, hello everybody, welcome. My name is Ariana Santiago. I'm the co-chair of the Apollo Program Planning Committee, and I'll be moderating the webinar this morning. And with us today, we have Regina Gong to talk about effective mentoring. Regina is the OER project manager at Lansing Community College and recently led the development and assessment of a mentoring program for the Association of Library Collections and Technical Services. This is being recorded, so if you filled out the registration form, I'll send you a link with the recording when it's available, but the recording will also be posted on the Apollo website and freely available for anyone to view, so you can feel free to share that with your colleagues later. We have a chat box that you are encouraged to use, so if you think of any questions or comments during the presentation, go ahead and post those as you think of them, and we'll save time at the end to go through and address any of your questions. This webinar is brought to you by the APALA Program Planning Committee. APALA, the Asian Pacific American Librarians Association, is dedicated to enhancing leadership opportunities through informed dialogue that addresses the needs of Asian Pacific American librarians and those who serve APA communities. And as a relatively new APALA member myself, I can tell you, at least from my experience, that it's definitely a fun and inviting group to be involved in. So I encourage you to check out the website if you're not very familiar with APALA. I do want to take a minute to let you know about some APALA events at ALA Annual if you're going to be going to that conference coming up in a few weeks. So on Friday, June 22nd, there will be a tour of the East New Orleans Regional Library, and then the executive board meeting on Friday evening. And that meeting is open for anyone to attend, not just the executive board. And then the President's Program on Saturday will feature author and illustrator Win Pham. And the membership and all committee meeting is on Sunday, June 24. And again, that's open for anyone who's interested in learning about APALA, even if you're not a member. So all of this is on the APALA website, and I will be at ALA, so I definitely look forward to seeing some of you there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get to the webinar that you all came here for. So Regina, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Ariana, and welcome everyone. It's nice to be here. It's my first Apollo webinar, and I'm so glad that you all came to listen to me talk about mentoring. When Ariana asked me about mentoring, I was really so excited to do this for Apollo because mentoring is really near and dear to my heart. And it has really helped me, not just professionally, but personally as well. Through the years, I've had a number of mentors, and some of them were librarians, but most of them were not librarians. So, and up to this point, I still have a number of mentors that helped me. So I'm really glad that I'm able to talk about this with you all. So I will come from a perspective of someone who has led a formal mentoring program. And in this case, it would be ALCTS. So just a bit of a background first before I take you to the meat of my presentation. So ALCTS is a division, as you know, of ALA, and they've been in existence for 60 years. But it was only last year when the formal mentoring program was launched. And fortunately, I was made to be the chair of the mentoring program. So just a bit of a background of how it came about. So when we launched last year, work has already, has already been done for like the past 2 years. So it actually began with the Emerging Leader 2015. So they had a project whereby they were asked to develop a mentoring framework. And I believe one of the emerging leader during that year is also an APALA member, Paulo. So he was one of the members of that emerging leader cohort. And then the next new members interest group, or ANMIG, decided to take the recommendation of the ELs on the mentoring framework then launched another project where they investigated the viability of a formal mentoring program. So that was in October 2015. And then the Leadership and Development Committee of ALCTS, for which I am a member, we drafted a proposal for establishing the mentoring program. We submitted it to the executive board for approval, and it was approved in May 2016. And so in June 2016, the mentoring subcommittee was formed, and I was the one who chaired that. So actually, it took us a year. So from June 2016 up to the time when we launched it last year, it took us like a year to be able to implement the recommendations and do all the work that we need to formally launch. So the requirements for mentoring is they have to be a current ALCTS member. They have to attend regular meetings, of course, between the mentee and the mentors, and they have to participate in the assessment. So what we expect is actually just threefold, okay? We expect them to share. So not just share their knowledge, their experience, but also share, their whole self to their mentor, because that sharing builds trust. And as you get to know each other, that of course builds trust and respect, and also hopefully inspire both of you to be better, not just in your professional work, but also personally. And then as far as time commitment, we were thinking maybe 2 hours per month is recommended, but certainly the mentoring pairs can devote more time than just 2 hours. But we thought we could give them like a baseline hours that they need to allot so that they can plan accordingly. And then it's a 10-month program that starts from June 1st of a year, the year that they will be starting the program, up to the end of April following year. And the reason why we did June 1st is that we all know that ALA annual almost always happens the last or the third week of June. We were thinking if both pairs know that they are mentor and mentees, they can meet up at the annual. So that's why we decided that it'll start June 1st. And then they also need to participate in an assessment at the end of the program. And I will show you what we have in terms of assessment in succeeding slides. And then there's an option for them to continue with the relationship should they decide. So it doesn't have to end during the 10-month, after the 10-month period. They can go on after the 10-month period. So this is part of the training that we give to them. We give them a bit of a background about mentoring. I'm sure you know all of this already. But the thing that we really emphasize, which is the heart of any mentoring program, is communication. Because communication is really important in any relationship, let alone a mentoring one. So recognition, recognizing each other's strengths and weaknesses, and also listening to each other, which hopefully will foster mutual respect. So I really like this quote. This one is, I think this is the latest book about mentoring in libraries. This is edited by Ebony Johnson. So she mentions here that in its broadest sense, a mentor is a person who teaches, guides, or gives advice, often but not always, to someone who is younger or less experienced. So that is kind of like our idea of what a mentor is. A mentor is somebody who is an expert, somebody who has been in the profession for a long time. So therefore, that person can impart wisdom to the mentee. But that is not what that is important, certainly, but that is not the framework by which we've designed this mentoring program. And I'll tell you, what that is. So for mentors, of course, expectation is to share knowledge and experiences, provide advice, listen actively, and provide avenues for meaningful dialogue, connecting the mentee so that they have the opportunities for professional growth and also have the commitment to achieve agreed goals. So as far as mentees are concerned, ask questions and be open to feedback. So identify skills a mentor can help grow. And then we also want them to adopt an attitude of learning as a two-way street. It's not just a one-way relationship where the mentees just take something from the mentor. It has to be a symbiotic relationship. So, and this is what I was talking about earlier, the paradigm that we want the participants to have when they participate in the mentoring program. So the mentee's role traditionally is a passive receiver, right? So instead of being a passive receiver, we want the mentee to be an active partner in the relationship. So, so the mentor is normally regarded as the authority. But instead of being the authority, we want the mentor to be a facilitator. The mentor is not just the sage on the stage. We want the mentor to be the guide on the side. And so what makes a relationship, a successful mentoring relationship, fit? It's really the consistent and open communication. That is really important, and I'm sure you know that. If both mentor and mentee fail to communicate in whatever avenue that they decide to communicate, then that leads to the breakdown of the relationship if they don't consistently communicate with each other. And then if both of them focus on the needs of each other, then they are more than likely to have a successful mentoring relationship. And of course, the most important thing is to provide honest feedback. Honest and constructive feedback, I think, is important. So on the other side, what makes an unsuccessful mentoring relationship? So I think, and I've mentioned it before, the lack of contact between mentor and mentee. So if both of them, life happens and, we all get caught up with the busyness of work, but if both of them agree that, we probably need to set aside a time in the week or in a month to just be present and just be, with each other so that we can enhance our mentoring relationship and achieve our goals. And of course, one of the things that contributes to an unsuccessful mentoring relationship is the lack of focus on the needs of each other and loss of trust. So when we designed the mentoring program, we also provided an avenue by which mentor and mentees can, if they feel that their relationship is not working, for some reason, they can let us know, and we will pair them with another. But fortunately, this year's cohort, we are now on the second cohort. We didn't have to do that. So I think that speaks well to the way we match the mentor and mentees. So this is the framework that I was talking to you about that was created by our 2015 Emerging Leader cohort. So I really like the way they do up this framework. It's divided in four segments. So I know there's a lot of things in this slide, but really it starts with the planning. So as far as planning is concerned, that would be um, a time when the mentor and the mentee reflect on their career paths. Both of them reflect on their strengths, weaknesses, and reasons, goals for pursuing a mentoring relationship. So this is important, I think, to do as you are starting with your mentoring program because it enables the mentor and the mentee to learn more about themselves and one another. Both of them may find it useful to take a self-assessment and share the results with one another. So, and then after that planning stage comes the connecting stage. And this is a phase where the mentor and mentee establish trust, share goals, and discuss the logistics of the mentoring relationship. So this is the time when they compile and complete a written agreement. So we ask them to complete a mentoring agreement where the mentor and the mentee outline their goals that they want to achieve in the 10-month formal mentoring program. And I think that is really important because that also addresses specific things such as time commitments, meeting dates, and what would be the best communication tool for both of them to use. So whether it's an email, a phone call, a virtual meeting via Google Hangouts or whatever, that is the time where they discuss the methods of communication that they want to pursue. And then that leads us to the next phase, which is called the Lansing phase. So this is where the mentor and the mentee spend most of their time and energy. So because the mentor challenges the mentee to think more deeply about career goals and the steps that they will need to take to meet those goals. So this is also the phase where might be an appropriate time for them to discuss the importance of networking. And then we are now coming towards the end of the mentoring relationship. We are now in the transitioning phase. And this is the phase where this is the phase that we use to reflect whether we have met the goals that the mentor and mentee have set out when they started the mentoring program. As the relationship comes to an end, this is also the time where it becomes a professional connection, not just a connection between a mentor and a mentee. If they care for this phase or relationship properly, we are hoping that the relationship will last indefinitely. So almost always your mentor, whether the mentoring relationship has already ended, if the mentoring relationship has already ended, most of the time you continue on as colleagues. you continue on with your relationship. And if you're lucky, you become lifelong friends as a result. And also in that phase, the mentee may decide that he or she might want to be a mentor themselves. So what are the tools that we use to ensure that we have a successful mentoring program? So as I mentioned, the mentor and mentee agreement form, that's very important. So if you are overseeing a mentoring program, I cannot recommend this highly enough. You need to have that agreement form. And for those of you who would like to see it, it is in the LibGuide that we'll post the, oh, I think the link is already in there. So, so the agreement form is really important because, as I've mentioned, that's where you would want to put your goals for the mentoring program, both mentor and mentee. And then you discuss the logistics, the frequency that you would want to communicate with each other, the manner of communicating with each other, and how you might contribute to the realization of the goals that you have set. And then another would be the program liaison. So because we have a lot of mentors, so mentor and mentees. So the first cohort that we had was like last year, so 2017 to 2018. They started first and ended just April 30, 2018. So we paired a total of 82 individuals. So we had 41 pairs, and that's a lot. So what we did was we divided the pairs among us, the members of the mentoring committee. So there's five of us. There's five of us, and so we divided them among the five of us so that we serve as the point of contact between the mentoring pairs and the mentoring program. And we also established a listserv for communication. So the listserv is run by ALCTS, and it's part of the ALA listservs, but with just the mentoring participants as members. So, like any other listserv, they can post messages, they can, most of the time, the traffic in the listserv is like professional development opportunities or questions. What would I do if faced with this? And I think it's a good communication tool for the members to utilize. And then we also have a LibGuide and a website for on mentoring. So that's the URL there posted in the chat box, in the chat. You will find lots of resources in there that you can use. We even have activities that suggested activities that mentor and mentoring pairs can do to enhance their meeting. So I think that's proven to be very useful for our participants. So oh, okay. So we also have the program assessment. And I think this really is very important for us, especially because we are just starting with the program. We really want to know the feedback and comments from the participants so that we can make the program better. And I'll show you the form, the questions that we asked in the form. So it's just a simple Google form. It's anonymous. And we have questions regarding the mentoring relationship and also the mentoring program as a whole. So this is the survey. So we asked them if they are a mentor, a mentee, or both, because there were participants who were brave enough to do dual roles. So they were both a mentor and a mentee. And so then we asked them, did the mentoring relationship meet your objectives, needs, and expectations? So the first few questions are related to the mentoring relationship. So if you are not sure, then you please tell us why. And then we ask them to rate the quality of the match between the mentee and the mentor. So, and then we have that range. And if we want them to tell us more about the quality of the match between the mentor and the mentee. And then we also want to know what activities did you do with your mentor or mentee. And these are the things that we ask. And then challenges and difficulties. That is really important for us to know so that we can improve. And if they have encountered challenges and difficulties, we ask them to elaborate on that. And then we also ask them to list positive outcomes that you have experienced as a result of your relationship with your mentor or mentee. And then we are curious to know whether they would want to maintain contact or continue with their relationship beyond the formal 10-month program. And if not, please tell us why. So this is the part where we ask them to rate the mentoring program overall. And also ask them what made the program work or not. And ask them what we can improve on so that we can enable a better experience for future cohorts. I am going to share with you the results of the mentoring feedback. So as I mentioned, we had 41 pairs. Actually, it's 80 people because 2 of them were mentor and mentee. So okay, so we had 49 respondents. So when we asked the quality of the mentoring relationship, 24 or almost half of them said that it's excellent. So 17 out of 49 for 35% said that it's very good. 14% said it's satisfactory and 2% says it's poor. And the reason why it's poor is that they were not able to communicate in a regular manner. So I think during that 10-month period, they were only able to communicate twice or thrice, 3 times. So naturally, that will not, that it's not good, because if you are not communicating on a regular basis, then you are not benefiting from that mentoring relationship. And so that's the reason why it was rated poor. So as far as the mentoring program is concerned, 51% rated it excellent, 33% said it's very good, and 14% said satisfactory. And again, I'm thinking the one that says 2% is probably the one who rated it poor in terms of the quality of the mentoring relationship. So it really is good for for us to know that majority of the participants had an excellent, if not very good, quality in terms of their mentoring relationship, and that an overwhelming percentage of the participants rated the program overall as excellent or very good. So I just wanted to share with you some of the feedback regarding the mentoring relationship. These are just some of them. And I tried to choose feedback that refers both that refers either to the mentee and or the mentor. So I'd give you a moment to read. And again, this is just some of the feedback that we got. Almost everyone gave us really valuable feedback that we can use to assess the effectiveness of the mentoring program. And then as far as the mentoring program is concerned, these are what we heard from the participants. I think they really appreciate the work that we've done as a committee, because we really tried to balance, between being there, being, monitoring the relationship and stepping back, because we really don't want it to be invasive. We want the relationship to develop organically without us hovering in the background. And I think we were able to do that. So I hope in the future members of the committee will be able to continue with that as well. So again, I cannot stress the importance of assessment, because the result of those the assessment will help you make the program even better. And I know APALA has a mentoring program too. So, it just helps us if we know that our program is working for our participants. And if it's not, then it's also a time for us to step back and examine what, might be ways where we can improve on what we're doing. So I really believe that mentoring is a journey. So you take it with your eyes wide open. And, as in any journey, there's going to be bumps along the road. The road may not be a straight line. So, but, the thing is, you have to enjoy that journey and try to make sure that, both of you are flexible. Both of you are open with each other. So I think that's the end of my presentation. I'd be happy to answer questions, or if you have any comments about what I've just discussed, I'd be happy to answer that.
Thank you so much, Regina.
Okay, I think Jade has a question. Yeah. So Jade asked, hi Jade, what was the process for pairing? Okay, what kind of monitoring were you doing during the program? Okay, so I'll answer first your first question. What was the process for pairing? So we have questions in the application form that ask them what is your goal for this mentoring program. So we have a separate application for the mentee and a separate application for the mentor. So for the mentee, we ask them, what is it that you are looking for in a mentor? And what areas do you want to be mentored in? Because this is ALCTS, like areas of ALCTS. So cataloging, technical services, collection management, digital libraries, leadership, management. So we have those broad subjects. And then we also ask them, what else do you need us to know about? Um, so that's one thing. Also, we ask them, do you want a mentor that belongs to the same library as you? Do you want somebody who is also from an academic library, or do you want somebody from a public library? So, and based from their answers, we put them up in a grid. So we classify them first according to the subjects that they want to be mentored. And then from that, we determine the best possible mentor that that person can have. But of course, for example, the last two cohort that we have. For the first cohort, we had more mentees than mentors. So what we did was we paired them first with what is available, and then once we've made the initial pairings, we we took a look at the requirements that the mentees were asking. Surprisingly, a lot of them would want to be mentored by a public librarian. And we didn't have that many public librarians apply as mentors. So what we did was to make an individual ask to our network, with our network. It's like if we know that there's a public librarian who's also a member of ALCTS who might be willing to be a mentor, then we contact them until we find the mentor that would be the best match for the mentee. The thing is, we are not turning down applicants. Our goal is to be able to match all of them with a mentor. So fortunately, we were able to do that. So that's the process for the pairing. And then monitoring during the program. So we have a listserv. So the first thing that they need to do first is to participate in a mentoring training program. So that's kind of like a kickoff training, similar to probably what I've done today, although it's a little bit more in detail. So it's a 1 hour webinar that we give to the incoming cohort so that they know the expectations, the forms that they need to fill out, and the things that they need to keep in mind. And then we assign the pairs with a mentoring liaison. And the mentoring liaison checks in periodically. So we agreed we'll check in maybe twice in a quarter or once a month. It's just like, hi, hello, how are you? We hope things are going well. If it's not, then please let us know. And then we also send out like articles that they might find useful or suggested activities that they might want to do together. So based on the feedback, have you made any changes? We have not made any changes yet because we're still trying to review the feedback. The change that we're probably going to be making after we've analyzed the feedback would be applicable for next year's cohort, because this year's cohort have already been paired. And for this year, we had 60 pairs, 60 individuals and 32 pairings. Because again, there were participants who were both mentor and mentee. So I hope I answered your question, Jade. Oh, okay. Yes, I will. I will share the application form. You are welcome, Denise. So I just want to make a plug. If you are a member of ALCTS and you would want to be a mentor or a mentee, please apply for next year's cohort. You know, Helen is here. Helen, I think Helen is one of our participants. So please correct me if I'm wrong, Helen. So, okay, what type of initiatives do you have planned to recruit more mentors? Johanna asked. Um, well, the thing about that is we want to heavily promote this. Um, oh, okay. So Helen is not actually a participant. Sorry, but please think about that in the future. So we really want to heavily promote this within the ALCTS membership. And we really are surprised at the response of the membership because we were expecting, oh, maybe we'll get 10 applicants or at most 20 applicants. But our first year, we had like 80 something applicants. And so, there was really a pent up demand for a mentoring program within ALCTS. And so what we do is to, of course, uh, promote this, and also in our ALCTS 101 sessions during annual, the new member interest group, we promote this too heavily, and the executive board too. So I hope we are able to recruit more from different types of libraries. Because right now, I didn't share with you the demographics of the applicants. Because right now, it's 70% or 75% of the applicants are from academic libraries. The next category would be public libraries. And I think that's where we're a little short on our public librarians, and a lot of them really wanted to be mentored by public librarians. So we also have vendors actually who are participants, either mentor or mentee, um, who we already have successfully paired. And fortunately, if we do the personal ask, so if we've identified, so some of our mentees really are very specific when they ask for who they want to be paired with for their mentor. So once we have that, we do the individual ask, and almost always that person that we approach agrees to be a mentor. So that really is good. I I I don't know. I don't know about that. The uh okay, so this is Ariana, right? Do you think people find it difficult to break out of the traditional model of mentorship? Um, I don't know. Um, but based from the comments and the feedback that we've received from the participants, I think that that model of um, this being a learner-centered paradigm, or a model where it's a two-way relationship and not just the mentor imparting knowledge and the mentee receiving it. I think that one really resonated with a lot of them because um, the feedback we got from the mentor said, I learned probably more than what my mentee has learned from me. So I think that really worked to their advantage, knowing that the burden is not just on the mentor, but the mentee also has to contribute to make that relationship thrive. Um, it's okay, because that the first cohort that we had, who also was a mentor and a mentee, incidentally, is a very active APALA member. Um, so that person is from a vendor side. She wanted to be mentored on the management and leadership side of things. So not necessarily like, okay, I am an academic librarian, I am a head of technical services. I want to be, as a mentor, I want to, have a mentee that has that same interest. Some of them is like, oh, I am very experienced with fundraising or leadership or management, and I want to be able to be matched with someone that has that, even though I work in an academic library as a collection management librarian. So they may be a mentor because they may be a mentor, yeah, because they have that same area where they work as part of their job, but as a mentee, they want to enhance what they want to enhance their skills beyond the job that they have. I hope I explained that well. Yeah. So for last year's cohort, we actually had two who wanted to be a mentor and a mentee. And I specifically asked them, what was the experience like? It's like, okay, I'm wearing my mentor hat now or mentee hat now. Fortunately, because we designed the program so that even if you're a mentee or a mentor, you equally contribute to the relationship. It's not like, okay, now I'm wearing my mentee hat, now I'm wearing my mentor. It really is seamless.
All right.
So Ariana, I'm interested about the APALA mentoring. Can you speak? Have you participated in the
That's a
APALA
good
mentoring
question. I
program?
actually have not participated
Or
in it, but I'll put a link to the program in the chat box.
yeah, I wonder how many of our attendees today have have participated in the APALA mentoring program. Oh, Johanna. Okay. I wonder how many. Oh, okay. Wow. So Johanna said that last year, APALA had 16 mentees and 11 mentors. So I wonder if you were able to place all those 16 mentees, considering you only had 11 mentors. Oh, okay. So Kiyomi said that currently chairing the ACRL Dr. E.J. Joseph Spectrum Mentor Committee. Oh, okay. I never thought about that. Johanna said that we are starting to get feedback and we had great experiences so far. And there were some who had two mentees. So some mentors had two mentees. Oh, that's probably a good idea. Maybe we can try that. Of course, if the mentor wants to have multiple mentees, only if the mentor wants to have multiple mentees. Ah, okay. Okay. Yeah. So Johanna said that she has created specific documentation to help guide pairs towards mutual and beneficial goals. Yeah, and I think yes, that is very important because yeah, it can create a more focused experience. And also, if both mentor and mentee have goals that they've set out for themselves during the duration of the program, then they know what they're working for or working towards at. Yeah, Apala has been around almost, so you have the mentoring program, Jade was saying, for about 10 years now. That's really good. Yeah, that the matching really was very challenging for us. That's why in our mentoring timeline, we allow like ample time for us, for the committee members to do the matching. So between the time, so between the time when the application closes and the time when we announce the pairing, we have 2 months in between. And we specifically agreed to have that time period so that first off, we're not in a hurry to match the mentor and mentees. And also, if we need to find mentors, usually it's mentors because we have a lot of mentee applicants, then it gives us time to do that.
This is Ariana again. I just want to say I'm so glad that we have people here involved in various other mentoring programs, and it sounds like we're making a lot of really good connections and sharing resources. And I'm just really glad that we can take what we've learned from Regina today and think about how it applies to other programs too. So I'm really glad that you all came, and we have a few minutes left. So any last questions or comments, get those in.
Oh, and also, may I add that we also heavily promote the mentoring program to our library and information science students because, as you know, it's hard for a list student to have that opportunity. And so we're glad that we had at least two student applicants last year and one student um, participant this year. Also, try to recruit also from faculty. So we have an LIS faculty as a mentor too. So and they'll be perfect for that. So not just practitioners but also educators.
All right, looks like we're out of questions. It is almost the end of the hour. So thank you all so much for coming. Continue to chat if we're still chatting, but I just want to say thank you all, and we're going to go ahead and stop the recording in a moment. And thank you again so much, Regina. This has been a really fantastic conversation that we've been having.
You are all welcome. Thank you, Ariana, and thank you to everyone for attending. And I'll share the application with you all. So hope to see you in ALA in a few weeks.